The Walt Disney Company is still pushing the evil, heinous transgender ideology on to its consumers, its park visitors, the people that watch its TV shows and movies. We have a new report that male Disney employees wearing dresses were photographed greeting young children in some of their parks. Not only that, but there's a number of photo opportunities that are pushing the transgender ideology on children in the parks as well. This comes from Libs of TikTok. Over on X, Disney has men dressed as women wearing dresses greeting children at some of their attractions. Received both of these this week from disturbed visitors. It is indeed disturbing. I'm going to guess that at least the one on the right is from Disneyland, because we have seen a video of a man named Nick wearing a dress at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique earlier this year. It looks like there is another man here. Unclear if that is Nick as well. I don't think it is. This fellow looks to be a little heavier than what Nick was. But again, same kind of thing going on. A man wearing a dress. And this is truly insidious here, because the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is a place where young girls are supposed to go to dress up as princesses, and young boys go to basically get dressed up as princes, and you basically have to pay a fee to do all of this stuff, and then you walk around the park and everything with it. And you have a guy here wearing a dress, basically trying to encourage the boys to wear dresses as well. Just absolutely sick, disgusting stuff here from the Walt Disney Company. Truly heinous practice here. But not only are they doing that, but you have this here. Disney has the trans, non-binary, and progress pride flag built into the decor at their parks, where children take pictures with. Received this from a disturbed visitor, and here you go. You see, looks like a young girl taking a picture with this transgender ideology symbols and promotions, clearly trying to indoctrinate kids into thinking this stuff is somehow right and just, when it isn't, when it is the absolute opposite. It is wrong and evil. And they want kids to associate this stuff. They think that to make it think that it's good and right, because they want to invert what they think, what they know is right and wrong. They want to try and twist what is right and wrong. So they will buy into this ideology, and then potentially maybe self-mutilate themselves in the future. Sick stuff that the Walt Disney Company is doing here. So this isn't out of the ordinary. We've had numerous reports of this over the past year, especially this year, even more going back into the past two, especially from last year, after they got into the big, they started lobbying against the state of Florida. But this report follows the company attempting to push its immoral degeneracy to young girls by partnering with Sean Altman, a man who dresses up in young girls' clothes. Towards the end of July, Altman shared a video clearly marked as an ad where he dressed up as Minnie Mouse that also happened to be an advertisement for the Walt Disney Company. Altman is seen in the video attempting to sell a cake-worthy Mickey Mouse dress, as well as a Citizen Watch Sensational 6 that is Disney branded. It's absolutely sick and disgusting. I hate even kind of like including this stuff, because it just like repulses me, because it's so insidious and so evil. The official Disney-style TikTok account also shared his video. I mean, just sick stuff here. Auto-playing here is just gross. Got to stop that. Before this partnership with Altman, a man wearing a name tag reading Nick was videoed wearing a dress and greeting young children at Disneyland's Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. There you see him there. There's Nick right there greeting these young girls at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Disgusting. Should not be occurring. The company also announced in April that it would have its first ever Disneyland After Dark Pride Night. You can see here that they've got all of their characters wearing these like transgender ideology symbols as well, and trying to promote that to their guests in order to further promote that ideology through their parks. But all of this comes as the Walt Disney Company revealed in their most recent earnings report that they lost $460 million in the past quarter. Not only did the company reveal they lost $460 million, but at the beginning of January, it was reported the company lost $123 billion in value for the entire year, as the company's stock price declined nearly 44%. If you recall, a lot of that had to do with the fact that they got into a giant fight with the state of Florida, began lobbying against a bill that was trying to stop the teaching of gender identity and sexual orientation to children in grades kindergarten through third grade. The Walt Disney Company wanted to oppose that bill, meaning they wanted school teachers to teach that. I've documented this numerous times, but Bob Chapek even said that he initially said they didn't want to get into the fight because they were going to try and indoctrinate the children through their content moving forward. He eventually succumbed to pressure from transgender ideology activists within the company and outside of the company, including Disney CEO Bob Iger, or I guess he was former Disney CEO at the time. He is now the returning CEO, but he eventually succumbed to them and basically said he would be a champion for the transgender ideology. But I want to point this out here. Archaven comics publisher and cultural pundit Vox Day notes that despite the massive losses, the Walt Disney Company clearly has no interest in stopping promoting transgender ideology and acts of grave depravity to their park guests and consumers. In a post to his blog, he wrote, "Those who believe corporations are solely self-interested economic actors insist that Disney will have to change its course out of a corporate instinct for self-preservation, a hypothesis that is easily falsified by simply observing the devil mouse's current actions. One of the mistakes that many, if not most people make is to assume that others share their logic and motivations. This is a remarkably stupid assumption because it is readily disproved by even the most casual observation of practically everyone in every organization around one." Absolutely true. To that point, he notes, evil not only has its own motivations, but its own logic. So instead of looking to your own hypothetical motivations, ask yourself what has been done before and what those past actions imply about what is being done now. The wicked men who run the Disney Corporation have different goals and utilize different logic and metrics than you do. Keep that in mind when you ask yourself why there are bearded, balding male Disney princesses at Disneyland, and think about what that implies for the future actions of the devil mouse. Indeed, they don't plan on stopping this. It does not matter how much money they lose. They aren't going to change that. I mean, Disney CEO Bob Iger, when he returned to the company, made that abundantly clear. He anointed himself as the arbiter of right and wrong. He positioned himself as God during a town hall with Disney employees. Not only did he appoint himself as God, saying that he could determine what is right and wrong because he's paid a lot of money to do that, but he made clear that the woke was not going away anytime soon. In fact, they were going to be doubling down on it. We also have this rumor from scooper and cultural pundit WDW Pro. He shared an email from an alleged Disney insider explaining why the Walt Disney Company is not changing. He summarized the email towards the end of the video saying, one, they can't have open, free discourse inside the company. Employees are afraid to say what's really going on because they could face real consequences, so they don't say what's really going on with it. You've got a company that also thinks they're impervious to the boycott, perhaps because it's so inconvenient to boycott them. If you watch the whole video, basically he discusses how there's lots of options for people boycotting Bud Light. You can get lots of other different beers, whereas the Walt Disney Company, maybe not so much. There are not as many other options for massive theme parks in California and Florida. He goes on and says, and then you've got the situation with Disney where they also believe truly at the top, they believe in this stuff at a fundamental quasi-religious level, or at least a political level. I think that's it. So I think he does kind of, I think those two kind of dovetail there, especially towards the end there where WW Pro is saying that you have people at the top at Disney believing this stuff in a fundamental quasi-religious level, and then you have Vox Day basically saying evil has its own logic and motivations. And I think those kind of dovetail nicely towards each other and kind of give you a really good picture on why the Walt Disney Company will not be changing what they're doing, and they're going to continue to indoctrinate children. So you need to make sure that you do not let your children be indoctrinated. You need to make sure that you don't get indoctrinated either, because again, it's not just children that they're targeting. It is everyone. They want everyone to buy into this heinous, evil ideology, and they think that they are God, and they want to have you worship at their feet, and you must reject it because it is indeed a golden calf, a false idol.
Subscribe for more.